Hello everyone, welcome to Oliveboard, and this is the RBWM one shot MCQ series, and today we'll be starting with the module B. So in this series, in one session, we'll practice the most important MCQs from each of the five modules. We have already covered the module A. If you haven't yet watched that video, make sure that you answer all of those questions. These are the most important MCQs, and today we'll be starting with Module B, which is the most important module from our RBWM syllabus. All right, so we'll try to cover the maximum questions possible, but I think we'll take two sessions for Module B to cover all the units in this module. All right, so let us start. So you'll see questions on your screen. I'll give you 10 to 15 seconds to answer it. Put down your answers in the comment section and then we'll discuss the correct answers. All right, so here's the first question. Based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which of the following banking services best align with the physiological needs stage? So, Abraham Maslow. This question is from our customer requirements unit. That is our unit 5 from module B, right? Abraham Maslow, they gave their theory of motivation, that how people are motivated to achieve certain needs. Yes, a very good afternoon. Please answer this question. So, which of the following best aligns with the physiological needs? Wealth management services, basic savings and checking accounts, personal development loans for self actualization, and option D, insurance products for long term security. So, if you remember the Maslow's hierarchy, it is a pyramid. It is a pyramid that is divided into five levels. At the lowest most levels, we have the basic or physiological needs. Then above that, we have the safety needs. Then we have the social needs, self-esteem, and finally, self or full actualization needs. So, yes, option B is absolutely correct. This is the basic savings and checking accounts, the basic level. What we have studied in the Maslow's theory, as our basic needs are fulfilled, then we move up the ladder. We move up the pyramid. Accordingly, physiological needs can be the basics, uh, core savings account, personal accident cover, housing loans. Security needs can be the life insurance products, tax planning, insurance, mutual fund. Then the third level is the social needs, consumer loans, personal loans, car loans. Esteem needs can be the term insurance policies, second housing, and finally we have the self-actualization, that is pensioners loans. We can put it there, the senior citizens term deposit. All of these things are there. All right, so I hope you understand the Maslow's hierarchy of needs clearly because this is a very important topic. Next question. What characteristics define the introduction stage of a product life cycle in banking? So this is from the product development process. If you remember the product life cycle, we have in this manner studied the product life cycle. When the product is introduced, it is the first stage. Then as time passes by, it enters the second stage, which is the growth stage. Then we have the third stage, which is the maturity stage, and then the fourth stage, which is decline. We have four stages in the product life cycle. You need to tell me the characteristics of the first stage. High sales and high revenue, low sales value, insufficient revenue to cover costs, high customer awareness and acceptance, time taken for the products to become known to the customers. So option A says 1, 2, and 3, B says 2, 3, and 4, C is 1 and 3, and D is 2 and 4. So, yes, absolutely, option D is correct. In the first stage, introduction, when the product is introduced, the sales volume will be low and the revenue from the products will not be sufficient to cover the cost of producing, marketing, and servicing it. Why? Because it takes time to the to for the idea to reach the minds of the customers, for the customers to understand them. Yes, D is absolutely correct. Right? So here we see sales on the y-axis and we have time on the x-axis. So as time passes by, we'll enter in the growth stage where the sales volume now increase and the product starts generating profit. The consumer awareness will be more. Then we have the third stage. There is more growth and highest sales is seen in the third stage. There's a wide customer base here. Finally, we have the fourth stage, which is the decline, the staleness or saturation because of competition. You tell me what will happen if I do not cater or I do not try to add some benefits to my product in the fourth stage. That is the decline stage. What will happen then? What will happen if I do not do anything to keep the product in competition, if I do not add any benefits to it? What will happen then? It will lead to death of the product. Death of the product, or the product will now go out of market. All right. Another very important point, in which stage of the product life cycle journey do the bankers they try to keep the product for the longest? In the growth stage, in the maturity stage, or in the introduction stage? In which stage will the bank would try to keep the product longest? Will be the third stage, that is the maturity stage. All right, so the correct answer is option D. Next question. Which factors influence the decline stage of a banking product's life cycle? So the fourth stage, where we see saturation or staleness. What are the characteristics or what are the reasons for the decline of a product? Rapid technology changes leading to obsolescence. Obsolescence means now the product has become old. Better upgrades are available, so people will go towards them. Instant success and long-term stability in the market, effective market research and preventing product decline, competition and availability of better products. Which factors influence the decline stage of a banking product's life cycle? So, yes, the correct answer is not B, it is D, 1 and 4. Option 2 and 3, instant success and long term stability in the market, will not take the product in the decline stage. It will keep the product in the maturity. Also, if we have the right marketing research, it will prevent the product decline. Right? Factors that lead to decline are rapid technology changes, and if we are not upgrading our product according to the new technology, and competition, availability of better products. Yes, the correct answer is D. It is not B. All right. So you need to read the statements, the question options very, very carefully. The questions are very simple. If you have the conceptual clarity, the questions that are asked in your RBWM paper are very simple. But you need to read them very diligently. All right. Now let us move on to the next question. Okay. Which factors are typically considered by the credit information companies in India for computing a credit score? Okay. Yes. So now answer this question. Which factors are typically considered by the CICs? Customers' income level and employment status, defaults on the previous credit transactions, high utilization of the credit limits on the credit cards, percentage of unsecured loans in the borrower's portfolio. Very simple. What is a credit score? It is a three-digit score that a customer gets, right? It ranges from 100 to 900, from 300 to 900, we can say, right? Higher the score, better or more chances are there for the individual to get the loans sanctioned by the bank, approved by the bank at lower rates of interest, right? So a score above 700 is considered good. Okay, you are saying C, 2 and 3. All right, so now, yes, let us see what is the correct answer. The correct answer is B, 2, 3, and 4. Certain factors that affect the credit score of an individual: the defaults on the previous credit transaction, the payment behavior and payment history, and the previous searches and inquiries. So, all these three factors are important. If you have a high percentage of unsecured loans, like you have availed too many credit cards or personal loans, then this will lead to a lower score, right? So, not just 2 and 3, but this is also taken into consideration by the CICs when they are calculating our scores, right? So, the CICs are known to include high utilization of credit limit and the borrower having a higher percentage of unsecured loans. All right. What is the meaning of high utilization? Let's say my credit card's limit is 10,000 rupees for a month. I am making payments using my credit card of for rupees 6,000 only. So this is a safe limit. I will be a safe customer. If let's say I'm not only spending the complete 10,000, I'm also overusing it. I am paying on credit, let's say 12,000 rupees. This will be a very risky borrower, right? We are seeking further credit. We are over leveraging ourselves. So the credit score could fall, right? So, how can we maintain a good credit score? We need to keep these things in mind. All right. Next question. What is the purpose of the control number in a credit report? What is the purpose of the control number in credit report? To track an individual's credit report from the CIC's database, to calculate the individual's credit score, to record the number of loan applications an individual has, to track the individual's income and expenditure. Yes, now answer this question. This is related to issues in credit scoring. If let's say I have gone to a bank to get a home loan, but the bank rejects my application saying that I have a very low credit score. They show me that my credit score is only 500. Then what can I do? I can go on the website of the CIC and I can check what is my credit score. Plus, I can ask for clarification as to why my credit score is low. Another issue can be there can be a confusion of names. There can be many customers with the similar name in the CIC's database, and the records can get mixed, right? The information can also involve any human error. Identity theft can be another issue. So, what is the role of control number? The correct answer is not to record the number of loan applications, but to track the individual's credit report. Please read the statements and the options very carefully. You need to revise all of these points, very important. Let's say I feel that I have been given this low credit score wrongly, right? Or there is some inaccuracy in my credit information report. So what will I do? I will contact the bank that has declined my loan application. I will ask for a clarification and request them to provide this control number. The control number will be a 9-digit unique number, and it helps to track an individual's credit report from the CIC's database. It will be generated when the bank they pull out my credit report. All right. So the CIC, they will require this number. It will enable them to view the exact details that the bank has seen when they drew the report. All right. So this is the purpose of the control number. Okay. I will be given a unique control number that will help the CIC check all the details that have been put in my report. All right. Okay. Next question. What is the primary reason for the banks not paying or paying low interest on the demand deposits? If we are talking about the CASA deposits. So on the current account, no interest is paid by the bank. And on the demand accounts, demand deposits, the bank pays an interest, but it is quite low as compared to the fixed deposit. What is the reason for it? Does it lead to high profitability for the banks, low transaction costs? The reason is because it involves a large number of transactions, or there are some regulatory restrictions. Does RBI say that only a fixed rate of interest can be given to the customers? Does RBI regulate this interest rate? Answer this question. What is the reason of low or zero interest rate on the CASA deposits? Till then, we will discuss the main features of these deposits. Like if we are talking about the current deposit account, it is a non-interest bearing. There needs a higher minimum balance to be maintained. There are charges on the short-term funds or overdraft borrowed from the bank. It does not promote savings habit, as is the case with the demand deposits. And these are the basic characteristics. There's no restriction on the number and amount of withdrawals. So, yes, the correct answer here will be option C because there is large number of transactions involved. In the fixed deposit or term deposit, there are no transactions. Basically, only once you deposit and then on maturity, you will withdraw the amount. So that helps the banks pay a higher rate of interest. But because there are large number of transactions involved in the CASA deposits, the banks do not offer very high rates. Regulatory instructions, that is different. We have a question on that topic as well, that banks they need to pay a uniform rate of interest. I think the next question is related to it. All right. We have a question related to that as well. Here the correct answer is because of large number of transactions involved. The benefit of CASA deposit is not a interest rate, but the withdrawable, the demand deposits that are withdrawable on demand. All right. The part that you are saying 1 lakh rupees, it says that up to rupees 1 lakh, banks can offer a uniform rate of interest. Above that, banks can offer a differential rate of interest. That is a separate topic. All right. Now answer this question. What is the consequence of not maintaining the minimum balance required in a current deposit account? If I have a current account and I'm not maintaining the minimum balance, what will happen? The account will be closed immediately. No interest will be paid on the account balance. Overdraft facility will be automatically activated. A penalty is charged. Yes, answer this question now. Yes. Which option is correct? A, B, C, or D? The correct answer is option D, that a penalty is charged. The account is not closed. The customer will be given notices that you need to maintain the minimum balance. Interest is already not paid in the current account, and the overdraft facility still continues. Yes, D is the correct answer. Absolutely. Next question. In which legal case did the Supreme Court specify that all transgender persons should be treated as third gender? Okay, now this is related to the opening of the savings bank account. Who can open a savings bank account? A minor? Yes. Illiterate? Yes. Blind persons can open a savings bank account. Incapacitated persons can also get a savings bank account. Similarly, the transgendered persons are also allowed to open a savings bank account. All right. So, in which case, it is a very popular case, this decision was there. The National Legal Services Authority versus the Union of India in 2014, RBI versus the Transgender Persons 2015, Transgender Rights Association versus the State of India 2016, Supreme Court versus the Union of Transgender Individuals 2017. Yes, answer this question. Actually, the correct answer here is no. The correct answer is A, National Legal Services Authority versus the Union of India. Banks have been advised by RBI to refer to this judgment, and all the transgender persons will be treated as third gender. That is, in the forms or applications, earlier only two genders were given, male and female, but now third gender is also included. All right. All the other cases, these are just fictional cases. These are not real cases. All right. So, National Legal Services Authority versus the Union of India 2014. Okay. Next. What is the primary feature of account number portability? This account number portability was recommended by the Damodaran committee. Very important. Institute can also ask you which committee gave the important recommendation of account number portability. If let's say I have a account number, if I have an account in a branch which is in a particular city, but I am moving to another city or another state for my employment reasons because of a transfer, then earlier the customers were not allowed to use the same account number, but because of the Damodaran committee, this account number portability has been allowed. So what is the primary feature? The customers can change their account numbers when they move to a different city. The customers maintain the same account number even when transferring to a different branch or city. The account numbers are automatically changed every year for security reasons. The customer can only transfer accounts within the same city. Yes, you are absolutely correct. The correct answer is option B. All right. So if you move from one city to another, or if you want to transfer your account from one branch to another, this facility is allowed, right? So simply the account holder will approach the branch to transfer his account to another branch. A letter will be obtained, right? The letter will be duly signed and it will be sent or handed over to the transferee branch. So this decision was because of the recommendations of Damodaran committee. Hmm. Next. What documentation is required from the customer to proceed with account closure? Now, if a customer wants to get the account closed, what is the procedure for that? A letter requesting account closure signed by all the account holders or partners, a letter of indemnity, a recent bank statement, proof of address. What is the correct answer? This is also very simple. Yes, the correct answer is option A. Simply, when a customer wants to close their account, they will go to the bank with a letter. Along with the letter, they will specify, they will request the bank to close the account, but it has to be duly signed by all the account holders or the partners. All right, this is very important. Then, any check that is pending under collection or any pending transaction, guarantee, any locker allotted, this will be checked by the bank. All the dues will be covered, and then the account will be closed. No other document is required, only a letter signed by all the account holders and the partners. Why partners? Because if the account is of a company, then the board resolution will also be required. All right. Next, which of the following is not an allowed holder of a savings bank account? Who cannot open a savings bank account according to RBI guidelines? Which of the following entities cannot open a savings bank account? Option A, individual salary earners. Option B, business entities. Option C, government departments. Or option D, the non-profit organizations. Which of these cannot open a savings bank account? Yes. No, no, why? Option B is correct. Individual salary earners, for them, the savings bank account has been designed so that they can save regularly a part of their earnings and they can earn interest on it to inculcate the savings habits. No, business entities. Savings bank account for business entities cannot be opened. For them, only current account will be opened so that they do not utilize. If a business entity is allowed to get a savings bank account, they have a large earning, they will put it in the savings account and earn interest on it, right? So that they do not misuse this facility, they are not allowed to get a savings bank account. Next question. What are the requirements for a minor to open and operate a savings bank account? Minor, if they want to get a savings bank account, what is the requirement? Now, this requirement comes under the Indian Contract Act as well as the Indian Majority Act, which says that any person who has not attained the age of 18 years is a minor. And the Indian Contract Act says that a minor is not capable of entering into a valid contract, but that is not the case with opening of a savings account, right? So the savings bank account in the sole name of the minor can be opened. What is the criteria for it? The minor must be at least 10 years old and able to read and write. That is, they should be illiterate. They should be literate. They should not be illiterate. The account should be jointly operated with a guardian. The minor can operate the account without any supervision if below 10 years. A checkbook facility is automatically provided to all minor account holders. So, yes, the correct answer is option A. The minor must be at least 10 years old and able to read and write. All right, they should be above 10 years of age. Yes, sorry, there was some technical issue. All right, so the correct answer is option A. We were discussing the requirements for the savings account of a minor. They should be able to read and write. The account opening form should be signed by the minor. Then, if the minor is, let's say, below the age of 10 years, then the account can be opened in the sole name of the minor, but it should be operated by the natural guardian. Natural guardian is the father or mother. No overdraft should be granted in the savings bank account, and checkbook facility on request can be provided automatically to all the minor account holders. The checkbook is not to be given, right? It can be given if requested otherwise. So all of these points are important. All right. Next question. What are the terms and conditions for opening a joint account with two or more illiterate persons? Can two or more illiterate persons, with them a joint account can be opened? Yes. Then what are the criteria? The account can be operated individually by any account holder. The joint account holders must be close relatives and operate the account jointly or by survivors. The checkbook facility is provided. A note explaining the implications of the joint account in the vernacular language is required. So, illiterate person unable to read and write, they can come to the bank, affix their thumb impression, and get the account opened. All right. There is no restriction on this that an illiterate person cannot get a savings bank account. But there are certain prerequisites that have to be made sure of, like no checkbook facility should be extended. The name of the account holder, nature of account, and the account number must be written in bold numbers, in bold letters, as well as the recent photographs should be taken. And in the case of a joint account of an illiterate, it can be opened with a literate as well, but that literate should be a close relative. So the correct answer is option B, yes, 2 and 4. Close relatives and all the implications of the joint account should be mentioned. All right. This is important. When we are talking about a close relative, the institute can separately ask you, can a joint account of an illiterate can be opened with a literate father, son, husband, wife, mother and daughter? Yes. Can a joint account of an illiterate be opened with a literate cousin? So no. Cousins are not allowed to open a joint account with any illiterate person. Then, what special measures are taken for the bank accounts of persons who cannot sign due to loss of both hands? So now we are talking about the incapacitated persons. If they have lost the use of both hands for opening their account, what will be the procedure? Only digital signatures are accepted. Accounts for such persons are not allowed. A legal guardian must always operate the account. A mark, including a toe impression, is accepted as a signature. Yes, answer this question. The correct answer is D. Yes. A mark, including a toe impression, is accepted as a signature. All right. So the handicapped person may be requested to put her or his toe impression on the relevant forms in the presence of the branch manager or the joint manager as well as a witness. All right. Also, if any person is, let's say, incapacitated due to illness or any reason or any other reason, and they're unable to come in person to bank to withdraw money, then they can put their thumb impression, which will be witnessed by the independent witnesses, and they can come to the bank on the holder's behalf. All right. So yes. Next, what are the conditions imposed by RBI on banks for setting interest? Now, this is the topic that we were talking about, that you asked, right? RBI restrictions up to rupees or more than rupees 1 lakh. This is the topic. RBI does not fix the interest rates. Banks, they have the discretion. They can decide the own interest rate that they will pay on the savings deposit. But certain maximum minimum limits are there. Like banks can offer the variable interest rates for deposit below rupees 1 lakh. A uniform interest rate must be offered on deposits up to rupees 1 lakh. The banks are required to offer higher interest rates for deposit over 1 lakh, and the differential rate of interest can be offered for deposits over 1 lakh rupees. Hmm. So yes, this is correct. For the deposits below rupees 1 lakh, a uniform interest rate should be there, and above 1 lakh, the banks can offer differential rate of interest. B. Absolutely. All right, so I hope you understand this topic regarding the deregulation of interest rate. Next question. Who can open term deposit accounts for minors? Now, when we are talking about a term deposit, can minor open a term deposit? Yes. Who can open it for them? The minor themselves in their sole name or operated by the guardian. Only the legal guardians of the minors. Minors only if co-signed by an adult, or only the parents of the minors. Answer this question. Yes. So a minor can get a term deposit in their sole name, or they can also get the account operated by a guardian. Both the options are there. All the other terms and conditions will remain the same. All right. Nothing else will change. Then, what is the impact of the penalty on the interest rate in the case of premature withdrawal of an FD? Banks, they allow premature withdrawal of the fixed deposit. What will be the impact? The penalty does not affect the interest rate. What is the correct answer? Yes, the interest rate is reduced by the penalty amount. I'm so happy to see all the correct answers. This is the main, we will say, benefit of the RBWM paper. These things you are dealing with on a daily basis. All right. So, the interest rate in the case of premature withdrawal will be paid at the rate applicable to the period for which the deposit has remained with the bank. For the remaining period, we can decide to get the penalty. All right. So if the penalty is 1% and the rate of interest that was paid on the fixed deposit was 9%, then the interest will be paid at 8%. It will be reduced by the penalty. All right. Next. What happens under the auto renewal system for the fixed deposit in banks? Banks, they offer auto renewal if the customers they instruct, or if they do not come to collect on maturity. So the FD is automatically broken and the funds are transferred to the savings account. The FD is automatically renewed for a similar period as the original deposit. The FD is renewed at the interest rate prevailing on the date of maturity or renewal. The auto renewal period and the interest rate are the same across all the banks. Which option is correct? 1, 2, and 3, 2 and 4, 2 and 3, or 1, 3, and 4. Yes. So, on the date of maturity, such deposits are automatically renewed normally for a similar period as well as the rate that is prevailing on the date of renewal. It is not necessary at the original deposit but prevailing at the date of the maturity or the renewal. So, the correct answer is 2 and 4. All right. Actually, 3 should also be correct, right? Because when it is renewed, normally it is for the similar period as well as the rate that is prevailing on the date of maturity. But it can differ from bank to bank. Banks, they can decide to pay a different rate of interest or they can decide to pay the original rate of interest. So it depends on the bank. All right. So this will be incorrect. The auto renewal period and the interest rate will not be same across the bank. The correct answer should be 2 and 3. Not B but C. C will be the correct answer. Yes. 2 and 3. Correct. Okay. Next question. According to RBI's recent rule, what happens if a fixed deposit matures but the proceeds remain unclaimed? Same question, same concept. On the maturity, if the proceeds remain unclaimed, then the matured FD amount is forfeited by the bank. It is acquired by the bank. The unclaimed amount attracts an interest penalty. Interest is paid at the saving account rate or the contracted FD rate, whichever is lower. The FD is automatically renewed for an indefinite period. So this recent rule was made by RBI on 2nd July 2021. The rule made on 2nd July 2021. So according to the new rules, yes, if the fixed deposit is matured, but the proceeds are not renewed and they remain unpaid and unclaimed with the bank, then the amount which is not claimed will attract the rate of interest applicable to the savings account or whatever is decided during the entering of the contract. So the correct answer is yes, it is option C. Great. Next, how many nominees can be operated for a jointly operated locker account? So now we are talking about the nomination facility. The nomination facility, which is offered to all the types of deposit holders, locker holders as well. Articles kept in safe custody, safety lockers. What will be the correct answer? Up to two nominees are allowed, only one nominee is allowed. More than two nominees, no nominees are allowed for the jointly operated locker accounts. More than two, up to two, up to two. Earlier, only one nominee was allowed, but now the nomination more than one person is permissible in the jointly operated locker accounts, but there should be common consent from all the holders. This is as per the information which is given in your Macmillan book, and we need to follow that. All right. As per the guidelines, nomination can be done in favor of one person only. But in the case the locker account is held jointly, it is operated jointly, then the nomination can be made in the favor of more than one persons up to two persons as well. Up to two nominees. All right. This is clear? Okay. So, yes. Then, what is the bank's approach when a deceased locker hirer has not made any nomination or where there is no clear survivorship clause? Clear. All right, great. Now answer this question. There are many cases, accounts that have a survivor or the nominee clause. There, the settlement is very simple. If the depositor had utilized the nomination facility, it can be either or survivor, anyone or survivor, former or survivor, the payment will be made to the nominee of the deceased deposit account holder. All right. There can be a situation without the survivor or the nominee clause. What will happen then? So the bank automatically transfers the contents to the government. The bank adopts a customer friendly policy in consultation with the legal advisors. The locker is permanently closed. Access is given only to those with a legal succession certificate. Here, the institute will confuse you. Basically, banks, they will follow their risk management system, right? They will take help of their legal advisors, and they will try that no hardship is caused on the legal hires of the deceased depositor, right? So, up to the claims in respect of the deceased depositor could be settled without insisting on production of any documentation other than a letter of indemnity. So, the correct answer will be that the banks adopt a customer friendly policy. They do not require any documentation like a legal succession certificate. All right. The banks, they will depend on their own judgment on the case to case basis, and they will try to avoid any inconvenience, any undue hardship to the legal heirs. Yes, a simplified procedure will be followed. Clear now? No documentation is required here. They will not be required to produce any documentation. In certain cases, a letter of indemnity can be asked for. A letter of indemnity can be asked for. All right. So, yes, the correct answer is B, and that is all for today. We still have chapters left from module B. We have many chapters, around 6, 7 chapters left that we will cover in the next session. We'll have another session for module B, and then we'll cover MCQs from those chapters. That is all for today. And we have already started with the Crash and Cracker batch, which is the all in one combo. So you can join this batch for the full revision and live practice. 25 live classes for your revision and 20 plus live classes for your MCQ practice. And you can simply use the code RAM to avail the Ram Navmi Utsav offer. You can get 52% off on your subscription. All right, the classes have already started. I can see many names who are already there in the classes. All right, then. So that is all for today. Make sure that you like the video, you share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And don't miss any of these sessions. These are very important. These are very helpful for your revision. All right, so subscribe to the channel and attend all of these sessions on YouTube as well. Okay, then, thank you so much. Have a great day, and I will upload the PDF of these questions that you can download from the link given in the description box. Don't forget to like and share the video. Thank you.